We're going to take weekly tea to a different kind of level now. Instead of giving like a product review like we used to on our, and you'll see on our YouTube, we're going to have a bit of a more laid back approach of we're going to actually just talk about our opinions, our feelings behind brands that we're talking about, and put more of a podcast feel behind it. So we kind of didn't know which way to go about it, so I thought monthly offers Prolific, which is a really good, interesting product ingredient profile to talk about, and Prolific's a good brand to talk about. And it links in with BrainBridge in a few different ways, obviously on the nootropic level. But what do you think of it? What do you think of Prolific?
Well,
overall?
In terms of pre-workouts, there's not really many that I've took the approach PEScience have kind of took. I mean, they've kind of combined the pump aspect with the stim aspect, but not gone too heavy in terms of, it's not one of those pre-workouts that's gonna get you absolutely
Here's one for you then. Tell me what you don't like about it first.
Okay, what I don't like about it?
I've got one in my head straight away. I'm going to see if you think the same.
The only thing that comes to mind for me is probably the serving size. Like, I prefer clinical dosage, and for clinical doses you are getting 20 scoops, but then if you actually look at the actual amount of ingredients, it's really good. Okay, so you got citrulline for pump.
Do you think it's faultless then, apart from serving size?
I wouldn't say it's faultless. I don't think any pre-workout is faultless. They can always be perfected.
It's always subjective, isn't it? It's always subjective to who's saying it. So a massively heavy stimhead isn't going to like Prolific. Someone who wants no come down, wants a really good focused, crystal clear pre is going to like. So for me, that would be perfect. I love feeling on a different type of level. I don't like feeling stimmed. I don't like massively increased heart rate. I like feeling focused. I remember when I took this at one scoop, it was when I actually got home. I had a great session. I got a great pump. I had a decent workout. I got home and I had my 20 messages in my inbox on Instagram. I remember just sitting there, just absolutely powering through them with no stopping whatsoever, just in the zone. And
it's one of the pre-workouts that it does dial you in. And as you said, if you're a stim head and if you like that huge energy kick, even at 2 scoops, 320 milligrams of caffeine is the main source.
Well, that's what I was hoping what we agreed in terms of. That my only fault with this pre-workout is the fact it gives you 320 milligram caffeine from 2 different sources.
Okay, I see what you mean. It does say caffeine anhydrous and caffeine malate. So but does that 320 milligrams account for actual content of caffeine or total ingredients?
So in caffeine anhydrous is pretty pure, but then you got malic acid with caffeine, so that's going to have...
it's about 75% caffeine content in dicaffeine malate.
68 or something like that.
73 to 75, I think.
So is part of that 320 milligram malic acid, which I'm assuming it is because it's malate, so it's caffeine malate. Yeah. It would be 320 milligram of caffeine. But I don't know. I don't even know. So that's the thing I don't like. So
I would be more inclined is, you know, when you get in a pre-workout and it's got like huperzine A in, and it says standardised to 1% huperzine A, and then it's got like 10 mgs.
So that's what I speak about sometimes on my Instagram, is actually looking at an ingredient, but looking at actually what you get out of that ingredient. So we've got 320 milligram of caffeine from 2 different sources. So that is would you say it's a caffeine proprietary blend?
It is a caffeine proprietary blend.
So I love PEScience, but I don't know why they do some things they do. In the amino, they label leucine separate and then put the rest in the proprietary blend. They do some things absolutely brilliant, and then some things I'm just not too sure why they do it.
It's weird how some brands take that kind of approach where they tend to nitpick at things that don't even quite make sense. A good example for me would be 5%. Like, they'll put their ingredients in a proprietary blend, but then right on the front of the tub they'll tell you the exact amount.
Yeah, so you can kind of work out.
Yeah, so you can kind of work out what in the proprietary blend, what contains in the proprietary blend. So why do a half-assed job like in this case.
Yeah.
Either do full disclosure or do a proprietary brand.
There's no added benefit
No.
or there's no downside to telling us exactly how
But
much
then again,
caffeine's in it.
even if that was not in a proprietary brand, how would they list the caffeine malate? Would they actually list it? Like, because for some reason I've got a hint.
Normally, I don't think they do it on this one. Normally they have to tell you
total
caffeine content.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Hyde does from
at
Post
the very bottom.
Gives you 410 milligrams of actual, and then because it's caffeine citrate.
Yeah.
Malic acid, like 10 grams or whatever.
That's one good thing about the pro subs lately. They've really like telling you the actual disclosure of things.
It was weird when I sent to you last night, but the Hydro BC in America has got less EAAs than it has over
it's
here.
got four of the essential amino acids instead of all 9 of them.
I don't know, we're going to have to ask them about that today. There'll be a reason, but we've got the better Hydro BCA.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So obviously that's the only downside we can pick, which is actually quite a statement. If you're going to look at the amount that we can critique formula.
Yeah, if that's
the only critique we can say,
negative of a pre-workout, then you've nailed it.
So they've gone with citrulline, not citrulline malate, which is what we like to see.
But what most people don't realise is the clinical dosage of 6 grams of citrulline malate. 6 grams of citrulline of straight citrulline compared to citrulline malate, it's a whole nother ball game, because citrulline malate is normally a 42.
Or you can get a 2-to-1.
Yeah, you can get the 2-to-1
1-to-1, and I think I've seen a 5-to-1 as well.
Actually, yeah, and normally it's a 2-to-1 ratio of citrulline malate.
2-to-1, so you have to bring this down a level. So if you've got 6 grams of citrulline malate, and it'll give you a 2-to-1 ratio, that means you've got, for every 2 parts citrulline, you get 1 part malic acid. So at 6 grams citrulline malate, you're actually getting 4 grams of active citrulline, 2 grams of malic acid. Now for me, that 2 grams of malic acid is not outperforming an extra 2 grams of citrulline.
It's not really going to do much unless you go technical.
It's definitely not outperforming.
But you're not going to notice any difference. But if you compare 6 grams of citrulline malate with 4 grams of the actual ingredients in there, citrulline, which is the main benefit, to 6 grams.
It's nice and simple. 6 grams of citrulline malate is not going to provide a better pump than 6 grams of straight citrulline, in my opinion. So that's good. Betaine and Hydrus, they've gone for the clinical dose at 2.5 grams. Seen some
great for increasing strength, power. Works great with creatine.
That's
as well.
the clinical dose, but I do feel the most efficacious dose is around about 4 to 6 grams.
Yeah.
But you can't deny that in the 4-week study, in people who trained in an average of 4.8 years, seeing over 5 pounds of lean muscle mass, 6 pounds of fat loss, converts health degenerative biomarkers into normal. It's homocysteine into cysteine, helps your body produce its own creatine, and there's an osmolite to give you massive pump. So there's 2 ingredients that's going to give pump,
it's
endurance,
one of them
and
ingredients
strength.
as well you don't really see many companies use, because it is quite a costly ingredient, which is probably why loads of brands aren't using the FFS's dosage of over 4 grams. So they're going for the minimum.
You see, few got dedicated on beats, going for 4. I've seen 6, but obviously then the argument comes in, well, if it's been proven at 2.5, is there any need for it? Me personally, I like it, that dose, but 2.5 is a really good dose. But then taurine at 1.5 gram, see, there's no, like, for me, when I look at pre-workout, around about 1 gram to 2 grams of taurine is the maximum you get.
Yeah.
But there's no, like, guidelines. Like, I've seen a pre-workout with 4 grams of taurine in, but there's no kind of, like,
There's no set
we just say, with citrulline, between 4 to 8 grams.
Yeah.
Between betaine, it's 2.5 is the clinical. You can go, but no, that's just my self opinion.
You've got brands that are like Pixie.
So where do you like to see taurine at?
I reckon over about 2 grams is my nice.
2 grams is
2 grams is for me. From my experience,
I'd say 1 gram to 2, but I think you're not seeing the full potential of taurine yet.
No, not at all. I remember a while ago I used to supplement with 5 grams of creatine and 5 grams of taurine. Now, because they both work on like an absorption, a water absorption level, I felt more hydrated. I felt more cushioned. It's weird to explain how
Yeah,
you feel.
well, it's an osmolyte, so like betaine anhydrous does water intracellularly, so it's going to give you a hyperhydrated muscle, it's going to give you a bigger, fuller muscle, along with a multitude of other things. Then we've spoke about the caffeine. That was the only kind of fault I had with the pre-workout, because you don't know how much caffeine anhydrous and malic acid you're getting. See, on the pessimistic side, this could be 300 milligram of caffeine, 20 milligram of malic acid, or 20 milligram of dimalate.
Yeah.
And there's no point in having it, so that's on a label claim.
Yeah.
On the optimistic side, I don't know why they've done it. I don't really need to speak to them really. Why would you do that? I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully we can get better creation.
Citicoline, really, 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 really good form of choline. It's a patented version, it's cognizant, at 250 milligram. So that's going to increase levels of acetylcholine, which is our neurotransmitter for cognitive function, focus, memory, recall, everything really. That's the one that you want to feel dialed in. That's the one you want to feel focused off. That's my favourite one. And it's not going to give you any come down either. So it's going to give you the ultimate high from a pre-workout, but not give you any come down. So for me,
vastly
I love
underrated.
choline.
Very, very few supplements use citicoline.
That'd be expense-wise, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, I mean, in terms of choline donors, the most expensive is alpha GPC, and then next to that you've got acetylcholine, and then you've got like choline bitartrate and a few of the other minor choline donors. But yeah, citicholine's quite expensive.
How much do you compare? So say if you've got equivalent doses of alpha GPC, acetylcholine and choline bitartrate.
Alpha GPC you only need to take about 50 mgs.
Really?
Yeah. You can go.
See that we're seeing 600 in BrainBridge.
Yeah.
Unless I am mistaken. 800. I hate getting wrong.
Well, yeah, from last time I spoke to a supplier ages ago to send some paperwork over, and the research set for the alpha GPC, where the minimum dosage where you start to see benefit of acetylcholine increases is 50 mgs. So when you start taking that and you supernova it and you increase the dosages,
I've seen alpha GPC at 1.2 grams. Just saying.
That would be so expensive.
I've just seen
that would be really expensive.
Theanine, which is an increasing, I'll just say it really.
It enhances the caffeine. It delays the breakdown of caffeine, and also
it delays a bit of kind of the blunting effect. It's an ingredient that you see increasingly amounts in pre-workouts, because everyone wants that high, but they want to no come down.
They don't want.
It's in here as well. It's at 200 milligram in here. I'm pretty sure it's only at 100 in here. If I've got this wrong, I'm throwing it. So both at 200 milligram. So that's going to blunt the effect of caffeine. You're not going to have any come down, delays the effect of breakdown, stuff like that. Vidalia rosea extract, great for stress and anxiety. Helps it's an adaptogen like ashwagandha that helps your body deal with stress.
The active in it in rosea as well also helps with glucose uptake. So
it's got two actives. It's 5% rosenavins and 2% of saladroside, which is the good one. I love that. That's in dedicated BCAA. And then neurofactor, which is probably my favourite ingredient in this whole pre-workout. Neurofactor increased levels of brain-derived neurofactor in the brain, which helps actually regenerate declining and damaged neurons.
Yeah, it's a
so
big
for brain health,
it's
insane.
And it uses the whole coffea arabica.
Again, it's a great stimulant for your brain, brain health, and actually that'll be used, in my opinion, in treatment of like dementia and Alzheimer's, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's one of them ingredients where people look for.
Again, expensive as well.
It is. It's one of them ingredients where people look for, where they try and delay aging. If you're one of those guys who are a bit worried about how like memory loss and how you might get worse as you age, neurofactor will be a great ingredient to supplement with, because it's one of them that's going to protect your mind.
Obsessed with brain health at the moment.
Yeah.
The protection of neurons, the ability to, how you can protect them, how you can actually help the regeneration of them, how you can offset the stages of Alzheimer's, stuff like that. I'm obsessed with at the moment. But obviously this is heavy nootropic. You've got your choline, you've got your theanine, you've got your coffee arabica, neurofactor and caffeine. There's no heavy harsh hitting adrenaline stim, so you're not going to get any shaky jitters, you're not going to get any come down from it, that's why I love this. Because if you get someone in store says, I've had a bad experience, or I'm new to pre-workout, you can give them this with the full confidence. They're going to love it. They're going to get all the benefits they want out of a pre-workout. They're going to get all the pump, and actually going to get some massive
going back to make a case for the actual serving
betaine
size as well, because it is a 1 to 2 scoop serving size. It caters to everyone.
Yeah,
you can 100%. Have someone who comes in who might feel a bit worse for wear, who's very caffeine sensitive, or might train late at night and doesn't want something too heavy. Perfect for 1 scoop, and that could work for anyone from, say, a mum who's just starting the gym again.
Yeah. Well, I took 1 scoop, and I'm acquainted with a lot of stims, put it like, to say it lightly, and that was amazing. And that's where I think this is the first time I tried Neurofactor, and I absolutely loved it. And then obviously researching deeper into it, there's a lot of things that act like it, act with it synergistically and stuff like that. This is why I love BrainBridge, and that's for me a daily essential. The BrainBridge formula is so complex. I think this is the start of a massive trend, in my opinion. Do you think?
Definitely. I mean, there's been nootropics for years.
You told me 2 years ago, nootropics are the way forward, and I was like, it's just too confusing. I don't really want to delve into it, because it's just like, you know, when you're stepping off the edge of a board into like a massive pool.
If you come back from the whole I want to be stimmed off my cake mentality, and you approach it from a long-term
it's much better of a feeling.
Yeah.
Getting stimmed in your brain is much better of a feeling than just having some wild energy where you want to go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if you get stimmed up, you got the jitters, you get anxiety. I don't know about you, but I get crazy anxiety when I hit that stim point, because I've taken stims for so many years now. I've got to hit quite a high dose.
Well, this is where I spoke to Alex Zubulski, I think that's how you say his name, and he said 90% of pre-workouts now actually could be, if they're that heavy on them, detrimental to you.
Yeah.
Because obviously the
downsides.
Increase in cortisol, the increases in stress hormones,
vasoconstriction.
So it's even down into the acidity of your blood. If you're going for after heavy stims, I don't think it's that brutal, but when you get things like that, you see every new pre-workout now is focusing on brain stimulation. It's focusing on nootropics, and that's where the industry is going, 100%. This is why this is so good.
I think one thing right now which is kind of driving that, with most brands, is people are coming back after taking, say, a normal pre-workout. I've used this 15 times and I get nothing from it now. I've got a double scoop it, I've got a triple scoop it, but by including a nootropic in that,
your brain can't get used to it.
Your brain can't get used to it, because it's your brain's constantly getting topped up. And the great thing about nootropic pre-workouts is, unlike stim heavy central nervous system based stim pre-workouts, the more you use it, the better it gets. Because the more you're drip feeding your brain with those nootropics, the more you're keeping your brain healthy, the more you can focus, not only just in the gym but out in daily life, say work, thinking about things, handling relationships, family life, and all these things.
Well, this is why this comes in great, because it works with 5-HTP as well, and serotonin, which is obviously your feel-good, happy hormone. So moving on to BrainBridge, I think this is going to be a tip of an iceberg. I'm glad we started on such a high caliber nootropic, because this is the most probably intense and most complex formula of a nootropic side I think I've seen.
I remember when we were at FitCon and Steve brought that over for us to view. I wasn't even released at the time.
Well, doesn't it?
We just had empty tubs with just the label on, and we just sat there in awe, looking at the ingredients, looking at the actual dosage.
I'll be honest, when I first seen it, I didn't know half the ingredients did. I didn't know why phenylalanine was in there, I didn't know sclerotidium tortuosum, or why coleus forsculum, which is a fat burner and testosterone booster, would be in here. I didn't really know about the 2020 invasion support, which obviously we both need.
Definitely.
And that was I didn't know about bacopa leaf as well, which is obviously a phenomenal ingredient. So you've got LTP mental domination, which is sclerotidium tortuosum and coleus forsculum, which will become more useful later on as we're talking about it, but they increase 5-HTP and serotonin and delay the breakdown of choline or acetylcholine. So there's one thing increasing acetylcholine like we get here, but then there's a few things that stop the degeneration of it as well, so give you a prolonged and
so
more clearer focus.
Both ways.
So every time you're increasing something. That's what a good formula will do. It'll increase all the right things, but then a great formula will help maintain it. So it's all got things that work synergistically.
That's what kind of helps stopping the crash. I mean.
Yeah, because you're not gonna. You're getting something that's stopping the generation of which you're gonna have a massive come down. Slowly doing it instead.
The faster an ingredient declines from your system, the more you're gonna feel the withdrawal effect. But if you've got a nice steady decline.
So it goes in at 750 milligram acetylcarnitine. So everyone's gonna know if they've seen me talking about on Instagram. Carnitine's a great fat burner, but with an acetylcarnitine, it crosses the blood-brain barrier because of the acetyl part and increases actually acetylcholine production, which is our main neurotransmitter, our focus one. That's what we want to increase and keep. But it also really protects neurons as well, that's why I love it. I think for that protection side of things, it should be in every nootropic. Then you've got your alpha GPC at 800 milligram that provides 50 milligram, 50% raw citrulline choline, sorry. So that's 400 milligrams of raw choline, which is going to be insane. Then you've got phenylalanine and tyrosine. So you've got 250 mg of tyrosine, which is going to convert into dopamine, which is our pleasure reward reward neurotransmitter, which then consequently with phenylalanine, because phenylalanine enhances the synthesization of dopamine into your positive neurotransmitters, which are going to give you a whole new level of focus. But that's what makes you feel happy. Dopamine's your reward pleasure sensor, so that's amazing. Then you got Bacopa, which is actually used in elderly men. It's getting used now in trials in elderly men going through depression because it helps with anxiety and that neurological focus. That's where that cognitive, it's not a cognitive tickle, it's a cognitive kick from Relentless. That's where that comes from, Bacopa, which is phenomenal.
Just to touch upon that, the great thing about this ingredient is, and what Man Sports has done is, they've took normal ingredients which most people associate with other goals, carnitine, fat loss, Bacopa, normally in a sleep aid and test booster, and they've looked at other things those ingredients do. What do they actually do besides just, what's everyone talking about, why they're using this? And they've done their research and they've actually seen how it helps 100%. With their brain.
It's actually made for gamers, on a side note. Then you've got 7-8, which is phosphatidylserine. I like its ability to decrease cortisol as well as being a crystal clear focus.
As well. Pricey.
50 mg of estrogen, which always gets me pumped. Because I love estrogen, it increases the absorption. So
there's no reason not to use estrogen in this day and age.
Estrogen or bioperine. One of them should be in every product. That's why I like Dedicated so much. You've either got estrogen, bioperine, or both in every single product. There's one that they don't have it in, but I can't think of the top of my head. There is one. There's one, but I'm gonna leave it.
Refusion Pro-Count.
Actually, it could do. Maybe the one I'm thinking of, because they've got indelicated gains, haven't they? Then you've got Huperzine A at 200 microgram. Huperzine A is going to stop the degeneration of choline. So you've got your acetylcarnitine and alpha GPC.
Quite a high dosage as well.
Increasing 200 microgram, So you've got them to increase in acetylcholine, and then obviously with the LTP domination, and the Huperzine A is going to stop the degeneration, so your crystal clear focus lasts for a lot longer.
The great thing as well is that Huperzine A dosage there is going to give you, if you've ever come in store and we've spoken to you and we've recommended you use this as a pre-workout as well, and you're a bit worried, it's just for studying, it's just for gaming. That Huperzine A is going to.
This is one of the best pre-workouts I've ever used, and I'll go out and say that 100%. Huperzine A is actually used in Alzheimer's, in the treatment of Alzheimer's, so that's a really good ingredient. Then you've got green coffee beans, 98% natural caffeine, yielding 122.5 milligrams of actual caffeine. So that's what we were talking about with this. This tells you you're getting 125 milligrams of actual caffeine, because that's standardized from green coffee beans. So natural caffeine is always accepted a lot better by your body. than normal synthetic caffeine. Synthetic caffeine, I was speaking to Alex Rizulski and I think Steve Salmon, who formulated this, at FitCon, and they were saying synthetic caffeine will partly get rejected by your body because it's a foreign body, where natural caffeine will get absorbed a lot better.
When you find yourself overdosing on caffeine and high,
I always say, look at pure caffeine, real caffeine. If you got them in your pre-workout, they're going to hit a lot harder. Theanine, like we spoke about before, is going to delay the effect of caffeine and help you. They've no come down at all, might like a smoother, longer stem.
Energy.
Teacrine, which acts like caffeine but without increasing your heart rate, adds at a very good dose of 100. It's flavourless, so it's 100 milligram. So
if you've ever had the old, not the old Unbeatable, but Generation 2. Unstoppable, Generation 2 dedicated Unstoppable.
That's 100
milligrams. It's got that sour taste to it.
Yeah.
That is the flavoured teacrine.
This is unflavoured, but they'd use the flavoured one in sour nukes. I've just seen here that this is the unflavoured one, so that blocks adenosine receptors like caffeine does, so you're going to get the same kick as caffeine, but you are going to get less of an increased heart rate because it doesn't do that. It's all
neurological. The lemon drop and the rainbow sherbet are going to taste a lot less sour for people who don't like the sourness of the sour.
And then your 20/20 vision support, which is lutein and xanthine, which blocks your light from Blu-ray. So Blu-ray on my phone, that's emitting light, which is damaging to eye retina. But I actually turn it off at 7 o'clock at night. It actually helps melatonin production, so it helps sleep. Stops melatonin production. So when you switch it off, you can produce more melatonin.
That's why they say like people who are on their phone late at night or watching TV late at night.
It actually stops you from going to sleep.
Yeah, because the brain can't switch off. You don't go into deep REM.
Your sleep hormone, when the lights go off, produces, so melatonin comes into play. That's why we sleep in the dark. We don't sleep with the light on.
Yeah, that comes naturally from us developing over.
So that protects us. That protects us from. That's where the gaming side of things come in. As you're looking at screens all day, if you're looking at your gaming screen, if you're looking at your computer screen, your phone screen, that's going to protect your eyes from that, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it's amazing about that. They've actually thought about every aspect. Like when they were making this, they didn't just single out gaming community.
That's years.
But they've made it. They've looked at it and they've thought, who would use this product the most? Students who are going to be reading textbooks all day. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm reading textbooks all day, my eyes start to go off.
If you're a student, I've done tests. I've done 2 scoops of this before, important exam, and I flew. It'd be used for everyone, high-level thinkers. I use it daily in work because my productivity levels go absolutely insane. Gamers, pre-workouts, I've used it, and I've had some of the best pre-workouts I've ever had.
That's what I mean. I mean, they've not just thought about brain enhancement, they've also thought about other aspects like
brain health,
students,
eye health,
and gamers were going to suffer from their eyes because of their eye strain.
I think that's years of development in the process there.
I mean, you've got clinical doses, you've got ingredients. You've got ingredients, as I said before, where other people use them in different categories, but they've actually gone and researched what those actual ingredients do besides carnitine plus fat loss.
And the rainbow sherbet one is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, rainbow sherbet, I've not tried that yet.
It's amazing. I've got one downstairs. I'll have some today.
Make a scoop.
So that is today's weekly tea done. I'm really happy about that. I really enjoyed it as well. I think next week we're going to do 2 different ingredients and have a little. We've got a load of about next week actually, haven't we?
Comparison.
No, we've got loads to come out, so we'll leave it there and we'll cut it there. If you've joined in and had a listen, I hope you've learned something and I hope
keep an eye out on social.
But yeah, keep an eye out on social media. Have a good day.
Bye.